Katie passed around some little pull cards. And so those are for you so that you can kind of read that to yourself. But also, more importantly, like, we'd really like for you to start sharing those kinds of positive vibes with the folks that are here. So my name is Michelle Lund. I'm one of the founders for My She Circle. And this is Katie Osborne, another one. And we are missing our third musketeer. Gina Simpson couldn't be here today, but we're super thankful for the opportunity to be here. And initially, I didn't really know how it was going to work to be like at the end of the day, but I am crazy thankful to have absorbed all of the content that we can kind of bring into our presentation to you. So do your pull card. Thanks for the opportunity to be here and to hear about everybody's strengths and to leverage that courage and compassion and community.
All right. So, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to start? You want me to start?
Go ahead.
All right. So, like she was saying, so we got to hear everything. So what are some of the resounding themes that we heard? Courage, collaboration, confidence, community. All right. So when you think about that in your adult life, we're all career women, community, right? That's often formed by coincidence of where you are, whether you're at work and what we're hearing, kind of like you're talking about, y'all are in a male-dominated industry. So that's hard. Those of you that have kids, your friendship groups sometimes revolve around the parents of, your children's, their friends. So we find as adults, it's hard to get those true, meaningful friendships. So I'm going to digress for a second. So think about that thing, like when you get burned out and you're just done. What is that thing that you go do to kind of fill your cup back up? Somebody tell me. Give me. Painting?
Paint? That's great.
Okay, that's awesome. Something else.
You dance?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love the create.
You what? Peaceful, right? All right, so think about how you feel, that feeling once you get to do that thing, right? You feel rejuvenated, you feel energized, and you're ready to go back and tackle that. So, obviously, friendship, tribe, that's rare for the reasons that I just told you, that you get that feeling from your friend group. Okay, that true soul-nourishing feeling that, like, when you need that space to just vent, right? Well, I don't want to be judged. I don't really know them that well. I'm around them in kid settings. Do you want to talk about the science behind why that's so important?
Yeah, so thank you. So the science behind all of this is that we are energized by the energy that is around us. So if you have columns, I have columns of friends, right? I have a true tribe and I have columns of friends. But in each one of those, we're a little bit restricted. And so the science behind it is that we're energized by the energy that's around us, and we kind of attract like energy. The more you can surround yourself with the goodness, the better off you feel. Now flip that on its head. The more you might be in an environment that drains your energy, that is negative, that sucks the life out of you, the more depressed you become, the more lonely you become, the more withdrawn you become. And so what we're here to do is to help you kind of figure out, how can I find a true tribe that is uplifting, that fills my cup? The beginning pieces of that are for you to start thinking about each of your experiences and how they make you feel. If you have an opportunity to paint with someone, how does that make you feel? If you have an opportunity to dance with someone, how does that make you feel? Or fly fishing. But also, the people that drain you, how do you then minimize that component? It is very unique to each individual woman what is going to energize you, what is going to fill your cup. Some of us like to be challenged. We heard about that earlier today. Find the contrarian, right? Find the person who's going to challenge you a little bit and ask you really hard questions. Some of us, that doesn't fill our cup. That makes us feel yuck, right? But the science is backing all of us around how we can find a true tribe.
Okay, you want me to take over?
Yeah.
All right. So, what are some of the reasons we don't put ourselves out there? Think about it. Fear, embarrassment, judgment, shame, right? Those are constructs typically in our head. If you think about it, how do you feel when you're around people, maybe in a small group, and somebody says something and you're like, oh, like I've felt that, but I've not really ever said it. It's kind of affirming, right? All of a sudden you're like, I'm not the only one. I'm not abnormal. This is not just me, right? So we happened into all of these things that we're talking about, finding that group. So Gina and I knew each other from college. Okay. We've known each other 25 plus years, and gone through all the things in life. We live in the same town. We work a mile apart. I see her as much as I see Michelle.
I live 3 states away.
She lives in Ohio, right? That's just life. Like, we have to be super intentional about it. But, so our lives kind of, when you're in a career, it lends itself a little bit to isolation, right? Mm-hmm. You're dealing with this hard stuff. It lends itself to isolation. The social aspects, the social engineering that we see every day leads to isolation, which then leads to the things Michelle was talking about.
So Delana also mentioned it in her panel. She talked about, like, when you're at work, there are certain things that you can't talk to the people at work about. Because if you're up here and somebody on your team's got a problem, like, it's going to weigh heavy on your heart. We heard about that femininity component of us and the feelings that we carry. But you can't talk to the people at work. How do you find a tribe with whom you can be vulnerable or share that information or get more feedback on how to solve the problem? How do you find those people?
So before we jump to that, who has that group? Like, think about it. Who's got that group that's relatively regularly in your life that we're talking about? Right? You're shaking your head. You're saying you've got one. What about over here? Got one? Okay. You've got some. I didn't understand the importance of it. I thought that I had that. I had friend groups. I did, of course, have the, parents of my child's friends. I was in a career, like Elena was talking about. I couldn't voice, when you were talking about some of your stuff, I'm in a completely different industry. I'm an attorney, but I was like, I need your statistics. Because I'm a nerd like you, by the way. Yeah. Rabbit hole. Queen of those. But, so those of you that have it, like, again, we text, we're intentional about it. And one of us, inevitably, every once in a while, will just come in and, like, just word vomit. Right? Like, this is what's going on. And bleh. It's not even that we necessarily need a response. We get a response. But it's just releasing that and having that safe place to do it. And then we come back when we have our trips. And we have all acknowledged, again, happenstance in this, we happened into a trip. Gina and I were actually here 2 years ago. Gina spoke. She said, come with me. We'll have fun in Chicago. And then we're going to go to Charleston for a music festival. We love music. So Dana, who was also here speaking, she was going to go with us. And we were like, well, we have a fourth spot. Well, I knew Michelle, had never met her in person. She actually was my coach.
And Gina and I went through coaching certification together 10 years ago.
So that's why I say we kind of coincidentally fell into this. From that trip, we had so much fun and realized we clicked. We did it quarterly. And after once or twice, we realized when we came back, we were in a more centered place, better to tackle our jobs, the things that were draining us, because all of the things that we were disconnected or that were weighing on us, making us feel like it's just me. It was not. It was not. So like she's saying, how do we help y'all find that? Because it's not necessarily geographically located, although that's the easiest way to meet those people is in your geography. But like she said, she's not close to us.
Yeah, so I think the intentionality is important as you're seeking out your circle, as you're trying to figure out like who those people are that fill your cup regularly. So when you leave the interactions, but you have to be intentional about it. And that's what our why is. So why we brought the My She Circle to life is because we want to be able to share that kind of goodness with women across the country. We want every single woman out here to have what we have. And being intentional about that, by Simon Sinek's research, is 8 minutes, right? It takes 8 minutes for someone to know they're important to you. The intentionality, we schedule Zoom calls just to have wine so that we can make sure we're staying in touch.
Yeah.
And something that I like to do is if somebody crosses my mind, I like to send them a quick text message. Hey, you're on my heart today. I hope everything is going great. And you would be surprised at the intuition that comes from that. That's your circle. Those are the people that you want to be intentional with. And so that's what my circle is about. And the QR code, how are we doing on time? We're not there yet?
We're okay.
We're close? Okay. Do you have more to add?
No, but I was going to explain a little bit more about why we're doing the QR code.
Okay.
Okay, so our why, all of this is important to us, right? But it doesn't help us as we're growing this if it's not what works for everybody else. Well, guess what? What works for me in my 40s might not work for somebody in their 30s. Now, there's an age gap. We all are at different phases of life. Very different. So it's not necessarily age range, but we want to know. So we've got some kind of structured questions that help us guide this. Because the point of this is to connect people. So does anybody have college age kids? Anybody mind the only one? Okay. All right. Did they go off and live in a dorm or something like that their first year? All right. Did they have this social networking thing to find roommates?
Yes.
Okay. I was like amazed by that. They definitely did not have that when I was here. But it's the concept of what Mobius Connect was talking about. You can tailor your profile to what you're seeking, right? Everybody, when you say that though, most people used to think, okay, dating apps. It's kind of like that though, right? So to build your profile, to put yourself out there, to find other people that like to fly fish, okay? That you might connect with them, have Zoom calls, and then once a quarter, meet them in Montana. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But that's hard. There's not a platform for that, right? To connect people like that. Or thinking about, okay, what's a fun thing that we can go do? Like just a random fun thing, right? Well, I know when I get home, and Delano, I was talking to her earlier, she's like, same. When I get home after a long day, my brain is not working. I'm not planning something for anybody else. So what if we could make that easy for y'all? Like tailored options so all of the elements of things that's separate and apart, we've seen book clubs, right? Or anything like that, but curated in one place where you can connect with bigger groups or smaller groups, right? That are like-minded, that will give you that soul-nourishing experience to help you tackle all of the hard stuff in life and the hard problems, to let you know that what you're experiencing is normal, right? Like y'all are here, y'all are in industry and y'all are facing that same thing. And you come here, right? And you're like, oh, I am not the only one. There's 100-something other women across this country, which is a small number. You're talking about just your industry, but that's a segment of y'all. And that's a segment of women across the country feeling the same thing. But it's affirming to know it's not just me sitting over here. That's the importance of it. So, like I said, the QR code is to help us tailor this more to help everyone else.
Get your input, figure out what's most important to you as we start bringing circles together.
And it literally takes about 2 minutes. Because I don't ask somebody to take a quiz unless I take it myself. I'm like, okay, this is not going to take me that long.
And feel free to share that QR code with all kinds of peeps, right? The more data we can get, the better we will be at making circles that are going to be effective for you.
So one of the things I said was to Gina, we were talking about this, and I brought it up to you the other day. Like an annual event like this that Charlie has, that's fun, educational resources though, but who's seen the advertisements for, and I might be weird, that's okay, I'm telling myself, for adult camp.
Adult summer camp. I want to go. I want to go.
I was like, Gina, one of our annual events is going to be adult camp. Yep. Like, hands down. And she was like, I like it. And I was like, I'm going.
We can have painting and dancing,
fishing. We can have all the things.
You could teach us how to fly fish.
Well, she's like,
paint and dance.
But see, here's the thing. I was like, Gina, this is like really weird. And I was like, no, I said it. And we're like, oh, in, right? That's the point of this, right? That is the point of this, is to bring everybody together. So help us help you.